2, 1. Welcome to today's episode of Loud and Brown. I'd like to introduce my next guest for today's show. I've got the talented Taai Taai. He's actually family, and he's got a great and amazing story to share with us today. I won't go into too much detail with it, but I'll let Taai introduce himself. Thanks for coming along. Actually, thank you for hosting us today, and thank you for sparing up your time to. I know how busy you are, but thank you for having us come through to your house and letting us shoot with you today.
All good, man. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing this. As you heard, my name's Taai. Grew up in GI. I'm a head chef at the Northern Club.
Yep. Nah. So as you guys can tell, Tai's nature is quite reserved. That's just how I've known him all my life. But yeah, man, he's quite accomplished chef. So we'll go and we'll definitely speak more into the career. But we'll quickly recap to 2020. How was everything in terms of family? How was everything with business? Especially with last year's epidemic. How was that?
To be honest, it was actually a blessing in disguise because I think I sort of took my kids for granted and never really spent a lot of time with them. And just being in those couple of lockdowns just made me realise how great my family is.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to spend a lot of time with my daughter and my son, and actually trained a lot with my son during that time. And then also we actually got to do a lot of renovations in our house, so which was really good. We got to paint our whole house, and if you see our house is pretty big.
Yeah.
So it took a little while, which I was pretty grateful for the time that we had during the COVID lockdown. But during it, I still worked.
Oh, okay.
I just Zoom meetings, probably like everyone else.
Yep.
I actually did a cooking class
nice.
online for our members. It was pretty scary, but when I was doing it was just like second nature.
Yeah.
So, apparently all the members loved it. So just any little bit that we could do for the club, for where I work, was good for the members, and the members really appreciate it. And probably the one thing that came out of the lockdown was just more family time.
Yeah.
So we usually get a 2-3 weeks off at the end of the year for our holiday, but man, that was awesome. We just day in, day out, hanging out with the kids and my lord and my wife. So that's how it was for 2020.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And I think that was the general gist for most people that I've spoken to in terms of the lockdown, is that as soon as you start working here, you're just in a cycle of just getting up for work, coming home, and getting ready for work again, and it's all you're right, you do have your 2-3 weeks at the end of the year, but you're pretty much just trying to catch up with, not just with your own family, but your extended family as well. So that's awesome to hear, because I do know you've got little medicine as well as Trin, and I wouldn't say little, they're growing fast, and that was probably one of, like you said, a blessing in disguise, is that you take it for granted how fast they're growing, but then you're missing out on all this valuable time. So that's awesome. So Ty is married to my first cousin Marlo. So do you want to talk a bit about your family, and obviously with your nuclear family that you have now, and then let's just talk a little bit more about your upbringing, especially coming from GI.
So as Sully said, I'm married to his first cousin, Marlo. It's probably a good turning point in my life, because I was probably heading down the wrong track, with drugs and alcohol. I was not spiraling down, but I was probably heading that way. Drugs and alcohol pretty much took over my life. as soon as I left school. But yeah, as soon as I met her, my life's just been pretty good. Like, I can't complain. And the thing is like her extended family, like you know, then you got Henry and all of that, you know, they just...
Master Henry.
You know, you guys just welcome me into your family with open arms. Yeah. And that's what I love about the family. Just, you know, that's why I call you guys my cousins as well. So, so, and then, I got, me and Marlo had, two beautiful kids. My oldest boy is 16 now. His name's Trent. Goes to Sacred Heart College. And then we've got my daughter, she's just turned 11. Goes to a school called Ficino School.
Yep.
It's an independent private school.
Nice.
She's just started there the last couple of days. She's loving it. And then, I've got my dad and my two sisters that live just down the road actually. They're down on Takanini.
Oh, nice. They moved out of GI as well?
Yep, so they moved out of GI. So my mum passed away, they moved away from there. Just, I don't know the reasons why, but moved to Pakuranga, and then now they're just down the road in Takanini.
Nice.
My upbringing, to be honest, man, I've lived all over the place. So I went to Edendale Primary School, which is in Sandringham. Pretty much spent all my life out those ways, central. My childhood years out central, like Sandringham. So we moved around a lot. Mount Eden, Sandringham, Mount Albert, Morningside, just around those areas. And then I think the furthest we ever moved to was Devonport.
Over the shore?
Yeah, because my dad back in the days used to work for the Upbringing gas company. It's not around anymore, but Auckland Gas Company had houses for their staff all over Auckland.
Oh, nice.
So it was like cheap rent, like I think they paid like $50 a week. Yeah. So one of the houses was over in Devonport, so we stayed there. And then then we moved out to GI when I was probably 11, 12. I was still going to school out these ways, out central ways. I went to Edendale Primary, then went to Balmoral Intermediate. And then moved out to GI, but still went to school out that way. And then ended up at Norris Grammar.
Oh, nice. Yep.
And then, but I call home where I grew up really is in GI.
Yeah.
I spent most of my time there. But now, obviously, living out in South Auckland and Manukau. For the last 20 years now. South Auckland's home now.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. How was like obviously moving around? So, what was that like in terms of like schooling? Did you have any? Was it always hard, like trying to like find a footing in new different environments in terms of like? Because obviously wherever you moved, you would change schools as well.
No,
it's the same school.
Wherever we moved, I still went to the same school.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Didn't matter how far we lived. So I've only, like I said, just been to the three schools: Edendale, Balmoral, and Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
So even when I was living in GI, I was still catching 4 buses a day to Melbourne. So catch a bus to town, walk up Queen Street up to Civic Centre, catch a bus to Melbourne School, and do that
on the way back.
So every day. So whenever I hear my son complaining about transport and stuff, every day I've been catching a bus for a long time.
Yeah.
So in terms of it was never hard. The only hard thing was getting up early.
Yeah.
To try and get to school in time. But other than that, then it was what made me, like living that way of, my mum and dad go to work and me having to catch my bus on my own. So I probably started catching the bus like when I was 10, 11. Yeah. So, but it was normal. It was normal back then. It wasn't too much trouble back in those days.
No, it wasn't.
And then, it just made me sort of who I am today.
Yeah. How much was transport back then? Like, how much was a stage?
All All I remember, man, is 3 stages used to cost like $1.60, $1.60, $1.80. I think one stage was like 40, 50 cents, and then 2 stages like $1.20, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's mean.
But they had this thing called a monthly pass.
Yeah.
So I just bought a monthly pass and just made it heaps cheaper. So you just buy it every month, and then they just go on the bus and just.
Yeah. The old school ones, yeah. Because lucky enough, when I grew up, I just went just down the road to early primary to early college. But like, it wasn't until uni then I was like, oh man, like, what's this? So yeah, catching the train was a whole new experience for me.
I never see it. Back then, the train wasn't that big back then.
Oh yeah.
It was just always the bus. Like, I knew there were trains then, but I don't think many people thought it back then.
No. Oh, especially not the way you were going, because there's nothing that goes out Roscoe. Maybe Balmoral would have been what? Newmarket would have been Green Lane? Closest. Yeah. No, because like, that's the only fault with our train system is that unless you're heading to the city, then it's all good. But if you're heading anywhere else, man, it's a nightmare, man. The reason I was saying, because I think, like, most of my student allowance would go on transport for the week, and that was,
Are you sure it's on transport?
Transport Shadows, same thing.
I remember Shadows.
Yeah, Shadows was good time. No, thank you, man. So how did you and Ma meet?
We actually, like I always say, we met at a nightclub, but there's a bit of a story to build up to that part. Yeah. So we actually met at a nightclub called Ginger Bar. And I don't know, you probably have to be around my age to know where that bar used to be.
Yeah.
But the one particular night, one of my good friends, Jamie, he was going out with Mieka, mate.
Yeah.
So he was doorman at base bar back in the days, and I think he said that Malo and all of them were partying at this club just up the road, which is called Ginger Bar. And he rang me and he goes, "Bro, what are you up to?" I said, "I'm in bed. I'm ready to crash. This is like 1 o'clock in the morning."
Is that Jim?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He goes, "Oh, I'm about to knock off." I said, "Come and meet up with my girlfriend's family, cousins, and some of their friends." "Do I really get to?" "Yeah, once." "Come on, man." So yeah, long story short, we got ready, came down, and then we just met it, and then pretty much just hit it off.
Yeah.
Good conversation. He just could everything. But we didn't really. I think it was probably about like 2 weeks later that we started talking again. So I don't know what happened in that 2 week period.
Oh mate, what? No mobiles back then, eh?
Yeah.
No social media to keep in touch.
Yeah, those landlines. Landlines.
Hang up every time the dad answers.
So and then I pretty much haven't looked back since. And then so we started dating. I think it wasn't even 6 months, and that would have been. I'm just trying to remember the year. That would have been around about June 2001.
Yeah.
2001. And then asked her out. That same year, on her birthday, December the 4th, I proposed to her.
Nice.
Yeah. What's that? That's not even 6 months. That's June, December.
Yeah. 6 months. Yeah.
And then the following year in May, we got married.
Nice. So that's supposed to 1 year.
Remember, you were there at my wedding.
Yeah.
But you were in your
it was a
little kid.
Yeah, man. No, that was a. Yeah, that was a real good time, because I think it was.
You would have been what?
Primary maybe?
2001. So 2002 we got married.
Form 2. Yeah, so I was small as.
Yeah.
But I do remember that being because I think for us was like we've always looked up to Ma, especially us, the younger generation, even though we're first cousins, but we always looked up to the older generation, especially Ma and them. And yeah, I think it was just surprising for us, because we didn't even know. Obviously, she had a boyfriend, but look, that's not even our business. But just the fact she was getting married, so we were like, oh man, it's cool for the family as well, because I think every other wedding you were probably too young to be a part of.
I think to be honest, it's probably a big shock to everyone. It was real fast.
Yep.
But I always say in my head, like, people have asked me many times before, it's like, how come? Like, so fast? Like, I don't know, man, but when you know that feeling inside you, just know.
Yeah.
So I can't explain it. You just got to go there and be there and that.
Well, like you were pointing out earlier on, like, not like your life was heading down the wrong path, but I think like you say, our Lord coming into your life was probably a blessing for you, and if anything, like you guys getting married that early was like a confirmation that was a good fit for both of you.
Definitely, man. Like, because man, our marriage ain't perfect. We have our ups and downs. Like, I think just like any other couple, but at the end of the day, man, it's I think our love is just too strong.
Yeah.
To get rid of all the rubbish. To be honest, like, and I still, when we first got married, I was still going out. I look back at it now, it's like, I shouldn't have done that stuff. But mind you, we were still young. We were only probably like 23.
Yeah, mid-20s. Yeah, mid-20s.
23 at the time. So I was still in that mindset of hanging with the boys and all that kind of stuff. But then I soon realised that, I just need to calm down now.
No, that's I think, that's like with just part of maturing, like, like as long as the other person gives the other person space to finally realize it, not have it feel forced. But then, having that sort of maturation process allows you to do whatever you want to do now. Like, if you want to do stuff with the boys, you go do stuff with the boys. But
I don't have that problem, man. I don't have to ask for the whole fuss. I just say, babe, going out, all good.
the man. So,
but that's vice versa, though.
Yeah. Exactly. So, how you pointed out to your wedding, what was that like? Obviously, whole process of asking Ma to get married, but like, especially with like, did you have to do the whole cultural thing, like sit down with the parents and yeah. How was that?
Of course, man. I had to speak to your uncle. Hello. Man, he was like mowing the lawns one afternoon at their old house in Browning Street, and then I pulled up. I already asked Auntie Kulasi, and she goes, but she goes, it's the main fella you got to talk to. So I came one afternoon, asked him, and he was mowing the lawns, and he stopped the lawnmower, took off his earmuffs, and we sat down for ages on the grass area. And then he pretty much just said all the things of like, are you sure? Are you ready? You're young, are you sure you're not gonna marry my daughter and run away after 2 months or get her pregnant and then disappear? All the fatherly questions.
But it's good for you. You already had your residence, so didn't need to worry about that.
But it seemed like we were there for ages. And then my answer would always be, "No, I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to do that to her. Are you going to hit my daughter? You hit women, bro." Like all those kind of questions. I said, "Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'll respect the Lord." And I just went on and on. And probably after like 30, 40 minutes, he just said, and just took away from there.
Cheers to that. That's me. Good man. Yeah, I know. My uncle Alo, he's quite a funny character because like I think it's almost similar to you and Ma. Like Alo and Ukulasi. Alo is just real calm, real reserved. But when he needs to be serious, then he is serious. Whereas Ma and Ukulasi, they're not outspoken, but they're quite loud by nature. And it's just that's their personality. Man, that's awesome. And so obviously being a rushed wedding as well. So how was it? How was that back? Like, how was that back then, especially being a young couple?
To me, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
But when we had to bring it forward to my mum and dad, me being the oldest, in the Rara tradition that, when you're the oldest, you have this big extravagant wedding. And all like 500 people, full of food and all that. For my mum, she was all for it. My dad had just had reservations, but he, like in a good way, because it was real quick on what we were doing. He was just like, oh man, we can't support you because we need time to get the money together and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what Island parents are like. Yeah. And I said, you don't have to worry about it. I've got it sorted. He said, what do you mean? I said, I've got some money. I'll pay for the wedding. Thank you for thinking of me, but I've got this. And he was like, are you sure? And I said, I don't want to burden you and mum for this wedding. And I said, to be honest, it's a small wedding. It's not that big, And then explained how we were having the wedding. And okay. And then he was all good. But in terms of doing the wedding, it was fine. We organised it all, me and my old. It was pretty much just me and her that organised it. And then, but it was just a wedding day. I got there late. Stuck in traffic on a Friday afternoon, coming from town to Maro. I had already been there for ages. I was probably 30-40 minutes late.
Wait for your cold feet or something.
Right, called, texted me. Oh no, there's no fancy. No, there was no fancy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I had a phone. No, I think I must have had my very first phone.
Yeah, it would have been the old block one.
Yeah. They'll text me, where are you? And I said, stuck in traffic, man, can't get there. So we ended up driving halfway.
Yeah, well, because it was in Rewa.
Yeah.
And from town to Rewa on a Friday
afternoon. So me and probably three of my close mates, we spent the day together. We were just in town, got our haircuts, had lunch and all that, and then we just lost track of time. By the time we got to my house in GI to get ready, man, I think the wedding was at 4:30 or something. We just got to my house at 3 o'clock, and we were just rushing, and then so halfway on the motorway, I told my mate to just drive on the shoulder. And we drive on the shoulder from probably Otahu all the way to Rewa. Because if we didn't, probably would have been an hour late.
Yeah.
But you should have seen the muckers when I turned up there. They gave me that evil eye. And I'll be honest, I haven't told anyone this, that when I turned up to when we had the wedding, I was like, am I really doing this? Being so young and all that kind of stuff. And then I just had sort of second thoughts. But then when I saw my law down in because it was just us in a celebrant, and just sisters and my mum and dad were there, and then just her mum and dad, and but as soon as I saw it, all that stuff just went out. And then we just got married. And 20 years later, it'll be 20 years this year.
Nice, awesome. Anything planned?
Oh, she wants to do an extravagant trip to America.
Yeah. It all depends on
New York. I want to go to LA. She wants to go to New York and then go to Vegas.
Yeah, but do both, man. You guys have to, man.
Bucket list.
Yeah, man. Well, 20 years, man. You got to definitely take us some time to really celebrate, because 20 years isn't a small accomplishment, man. That's awesome. Congrats to you both, obviously, for next year. But so that was obviously getting married, and what was it like? Obviously, you staying with your family. Pretty much as soon as you got married, you pretty much moved straight into Mars with mine, man. Out at Brownie. So what was that like? You moved from a Rara household to a Samoan household?
I wouldn't say different, because I think
the foundations are almost the same, man.
Both cultures are very similar. But no, to be honest, man, I didn't have any problems or any qualms of moving in. It was like I said earlier, your guys' family is just open arms, bro, and that's what I love about. Because I always had, and don't take this the wrong way, I always had this perception of Samoans, being those, angry guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But there's no thing to anyone. But
that was just your experience.
Yeah. Oh, I've had a few experiences of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, at nightclubs and stuff. But your guys' family, open arms, bro. You know, Alo and Lassie, bro. They're probably the best father-in-law and mother-in-law you can have, man. You know, and what they do now for our kids, would struggle with our kids.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, with work-wise and schooling and all that kind of stuff. So, no, man, it wasn't hard for me at all. Man, it was just like I'd already been there for how many years?
Yeah.
So it was all. You know, just little things had to adjust.
Yeah. That's all good, man. Yeah, because it wouldn't have been easy. Because what people don't know, like with mine, they're like they're not the head of our family, but all of our gatherings are always at Ma's house, and like this is from us growing from when we were young all the way to till now. It's just they've always just been like that, and Alu's. Yeah, even though he's an in-law, but he's like always been one of the head speakers as well to our family.
Well respected.
Yeah, well respected for our family, man. And I was just asking because like I know there's a bit of foreign territory, especially like whenever you're hosting or whenever you have to cater to everyone.
It
can be a bit difficult at times, but no, that's awesome. So obviously, growing up most of your life in GI, so. What was it like growing up out east, and what was it like? What was your relationship like with your mum and your dad, as well as the siblings?
There's actually a big age gap between me and my siblings.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest, and my next sister down is 10 years younger than me, and then the next sister down from her should be.
She's my age, eh?
She was born 1994.
Oh, yeah.
So which is 16. Yeah, so there's 16 years between me and my younger sister. So growing up, we didn't really have like a hard out brother sister relationship. Like me and the next sister down, we're pretty close. But then obviously when I got older, I moved out of home and started doing my own thing, so I sort of didn't really see them that much. And then with my mum, mummy's boy, they're saying, me and my mum were close. I still find it hard that she's gone, I still think about her every day. And with me and my dad, it's a bit of we're good now. We had this massive talk a couple of years ago. I don't know. He always seemed to be. It's hard to explain. It's like I could never really talk to him about anything. That's probably the mentality of the older generation from us. You can't really talk to them. But I could talk to my mum about anything.
Oh no, man. Yeah, I connect with that one. Yeah, massive. It's like a one-way conversation when it comes to it.
Yeah. So there were times when me and my dad, I couldn't really speak to him, so I just go speak to my mum. But in saying that, man, I love my dad to bits, and we're at a good place at the moment. We talk about anything now, which is, I think, just that stigma of men can't talk sort of thing.
Yeah, especially about their emotions.
Yeah. So we don't talk that often, but when we do talk, it's good talk. Just the conversation flows, and he asks about how I'm doing, and just stuff like that, how the family is doing. Living in GI, that's bloody efficient.
Yeah.
Living in GI, man, it was a rough place back in the days, man.
Yeah.
Like everyone says that, our South Otaara and all I know it was pretty rough at that time, but I reckon it's probably even similar back in GI. Back in the days, the police had to put this thing in called a curfew. Like if you're walking around on the streets after 10:30, you'd get picked up and dropped off to your house. They just didn't want anyone walking on the streets. But the thing is, man, people did it, and there were a lot of gang fights back in those days, man, over there. But I was always a homebody. I always just school, rugby, back home, and just stayed there. That's why when people ask me, "Oh, you're from GI, blah blah blah," and I said, "Oh, no, not really." So I didn't really interact or socialize. It wasn't until like when I got older, like 16, 17, and I started hanging out with some of my good mates now. They used to go to Sacred Heart College. So yeah, that's when I started coming out a bit more. But I was really reserved and shy back in those days. And I didn't really do much other than rugby.
Yeah. What was rugby like back at Mount Roscoe? What was that like?
Oh, it was alright. I made the first 16. It was just good. I made the first 16 back in 95. But back in those days, man, it was all about just having fun. It's not hard out like now these days. Like the first 16 is like you've got to be a certain way, and you got to pump weights and all that kind of stuff. Back in our day, man, it's just all about having fun and just playing with your mates. And that's what I love about it. I just think now it's just how rugby's professional now, and it's sort of stemming its way. Probably has actually into high schools. The pumping the weights and people, some players looking for contracts, at an early age. I just think kids need just to bide their timing and don't rush, man. Don't rush. And so I try and instill that into my boys too. Rugby is unusual.
Yeah. Alright, that's some news. No, I connect with you in terms of your relationship with your old man. I think of that generation, they're just a product of their environment. That's just what they were taught. There was no questioning what was going on or what you were told to do. You just go ahead and do it. So, and it does, stem its way into our society now, especially with it's awesome now that you guys can have those type of conversations. I think as well is that you have a different level of appreciation there as well, because you could see what your dad was trying to do from a fatherly perspective, which is what you have right now, especially with you and Trent. And that's stuck with me and my old man. Like growing up, you know what I was saying. Especially you guys as well. No, we're all good, bro. Like that's the thing. I think as you would know, with me and my family, my dad's life has been strict as well. But there was a time when I just started going out and drinking and stuff like that, and it was like, it took a while for my old man to accept it or anything. But it was more like, I think for me, it was more, I just wanted to enjoy my time and enjoy the uni days and stuff like that. I think for them was just they were worried that I was going to be away from church and be away from studies and stuff like that. And like whereas now, like I can see why they, the more I interact with my friends, I can see what they were doing. Like I think I had this conversation as well with a previous case. It's even the execution might not be as good as what it is compared to today's society, but at the end of the day, like the core meaning behind the core intentions is love, Yeah, and that's one thing that like being a father that you appreciate it even more.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess we can see where our fathers are coming from.
Yeah.
And there was just their way of handling the situation at the time, sort of thing. But now being a father, I can see where they're coming from. But we've already had those experiences in our past where we can. My son, in particular, now he's starting to go out with his mates and stuff like that. Like he didn't really used to go out, but now he's just hanging out and stuff like that. And to me, it's like, but just be sensible out there, don't be just be kind, and don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Thing,
That's second, and that's what a role is. It's just making sure that they know obviously what's right from wrong. Because, like you said, like especially with us, how we're working every day, like we can only see them within this, within our beds or what we call home. But large proportion of the day they're outside, so you can only teach them for so long or overlook them for so much during the day that you just hope that you teach them the right skills and the right mindset, just so that when they're by themselves, that they are looked after and they are sensible, like you said. And that's awesome. We'll dive a bit into your career. So, Taai, you're pretty much like what, a head chef? Head chef. What's the name of the?
It's called the Northern Club.
So the Northern Club. So it's quite an exclusive club. Would you say it's like a gentleman's club? Like
I used to say gentlemen's club, but it's a members club.
Members club. Yeah.
Because once I say gentlemen's club, everyone
just for males.
and males, and they say, "Oh, is it a football?"
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
But it's not. It's like it's a members club, and it's for men and women of any age.
Yeah, it's quite exclusive. So, it's funny though, because like at uni, I'd walk past it how many times towards the. But it might not just see people suits and everything come in, go up.
Because it is pretty much next to the uni.
Yeah.
The uni, Albert Park, Pullman Hotel.
Pullman, and it's right across Pullman because it's the building before the leaves that go over there.
The Ivy.
The Ivy. Yeah.
What's the proper name? Virginia Creeper.
Yeah, nice. So tell us a little bit about obviously how you got into becoming a chef, and then obviously your natural progression from where you started within your guys' kitchen to now that you're head chef there.
Yeah. So I'll go back to high school actually. Back in the days there was no NCEA, and it was school certificate, sixth form certificate, and university. So I failed everything at school. Like I failed school C in fifth form, went and did it again in sixth form, failed it again, and then had the option to go like into seventh form but do sixth form, and failed sixth form while doing seventh form. So I basically left school with nothing. And to be honest, man, like school wasn't for me. I should have left ages ago. I should have probably left like sixth form. All I went to high school for was just to play rugby and hang with the boys, to be honest. But in my last year of school, I did food technology. Food technology? Is that the one? Yeah. Man, and I sort of, not knowing what was going to happen later on down the track, I sort of loved it, and I did well actually, but at the same time still mucked around. So I thought I did well, but the teachers thought otherwise. And I remember my teacher at the time saying to me, "Taai, you know what, you're not going to get anywhere because you muck around too much." I didn't really think of it at that time, but it's funny like how things happen later on in life. So finished school at the end of 95, was just bumming around, November, December, and then my uncle called me, and he was the head kitchen hand at there used to be a restaurant down in the Kauri Bay called Hammerhead Seafood Restaurant, just down the road from Kelly Tartan's. Oh, yeah, it's not there anymore, but man, that place was pumping back in the days, especially back in the American Cup day in 2000. So my uncle was working there and asked me, "Are you doing anything?" He goes, and I go, "No, I'm just stay home doing nothing. If you want to come and wash some dishes?" I said, "Man, I'll do anything, man. I need some money." So we went and did that, but I loved it, just cleaning dishes, but just being in that restaurant environment, man. Like, and I used to always watch the chefs and go, "Man, that looks like food," like just pumping out the food. So that was the end of 95, and then I think halfway through 96, the head chef at the time, his name is Mark Lane, we're still good mates to this day. He offered me an apprenticeship, and then I just took it, and then I didn't really look back, and then I pretty much, and I would have been 18 years old. I I started on pastry, which is dessert section. I moved my way to cold nata, which is the cold entrees. Then I moved my way to hot entrees, cooking on the mains, and then I left there and I moved to sous chef. And the next step after that would have been head chef. And that was, I moved to sous chef, and now I was in a space of 4 years. And I would have been 22 at the time. Sous chef at the time, Hammerhead's seafood restaurant was one of the most exclusive restaurants, premier restaurants back in those days. Because when you think about those days, there was hardly any restaurants back then. Like you look now, there's plenty everywhere. So it was always a competition between Hammerheads, and then there was a place called Chin Chin's down on the viaduct, and then Harborside, and then a place in Parnell called Iguasi. So we were the four main, and then there's another place in Parnell, but we were the main areas that everyone went to. And so I left there sous chef. Then I went 2000. I went to Stanford Plaza, and I went there as a sous chef again. And then 2001 I went to 2001 I went to Stanford, and then 2002 I stayed there for a year, and then 2002 I went to the Northern Club, and then 2002, and then but just sous chef the whole time, and I became head chef probably 3 years ago.
Was there any reason why? Was it just
the head chef at the time was leaving, like he was handed in resignation. I just thought it was time for me to take over. I was pretty much doing his work anyway, to be honest. And then I just put my name forward to the boss at the time, and then they said, yep. And I've just been doing it ever since, and haven't really looked back at all. Just been trying to build a good kitchen environment, culture, and just trying to be the best boss to the rest of my staff as I can be.
Yeah, no, that's
2002 I've been there.
So within the kitchen, is there always just one head chef and he's of multiple sous chefs?
Yeah, so usually there's one head chef, which is the top, he's the top man, and then you can have as many sous chefs as you want. In my kitchen brigade, there's two of them. There's one sous chef for the a la carte side. A la carte's like, just cooking to order. Those restaurants, they cook to order. And then I've got a sous chef that does banquets and functions. And then underneath them, there's probably like the next rank down is senior chef de party. I've got three of those actually. And then the next rank after that is chef de party. And I've probably got like 4 or 5 of those. And that's the lowest rank I have in our kitchen. You can go down as low as trainee chef. So it goes head chef, sous chef, senior chef de party, demi chef de party, commis chef, trainee chef. Yeah. So it's a bit of a ranking. I've gone from there to the top. And when I look back at it, man, I think of my upbringing. I think of like where I've come from. And I think to myself, this little brown boy from GI, is the head chef at one of the most prestigious members club around the world. Because there's the club that I work at. There's many of them around the world. So it's quite humbling, man. Yeah, when I think about it sometimes, where I come from and to where I am now.
No, that's awesome, and then that just goes to show as well. You don't really need a tertiary education. It's
Actually, I went to. I did during my apprenticeship. I had to go to AET. It's called City and Guilds now. That's the proper name for the qualification to be a chef. But back in my day it was called 75 Bar 1, Bar 2, Bar 3. I got my Bar 1 and 2. during a 12-week course with 2 years work, all crammed into 12 weeks. So that's probably my only qualification I have is the 751, 752. So I don't have so when you get 753, you're fully qualified. So I'm not even fully qualified chef, to be honest. And at the same time, when I was doing my course at AET, my mum was doing her 753. So she was a chef by trade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was funny, we'd see each other at course, and I said, "Oh, where are you going?" I said, "Oh, you're going to class," but really I'm going shadows. Going shadows for a drink. So yeah, she got her papers for being a chef, but then her true love was being a teacher. So just before she passed away, she passed away in December 2008. She just got her degree in October of 2008. So she didn't have it long before she passed. So yeah,
that's me, though. Now, like I said, maybe you do need a tertiary education, but what I wanted to highlight is that, like, especially within schooling, like if academics isn't your strong point, with us Islanders we're adaptable, man, and like we all have we all believe in everyone has a true calling, or so, like you said, man, like. Have you ever gone back to school and seen the teacher again, or no?
Oh, I was going to just bring that up actually. So when I was working at Hammerheads, this would have been like two years after I left school. She walks in because our kitchen's open. You can see everyone there. So she walks in and I'm busy hard out paying some dishes. And she calls my name and I look up and she's standing right there. And then I just remember saying, she goes, "Oh, Taai, how are you?" I say, "Yeah, good." And I just remember saying to her, remember when you said that, I wouldn't get anywhere because I was mucking around too much? And she goes, "Oh, yes, I did." I said, "Well, look what I'm doing, man." And I said to her, "Thanks to you for teaching me a little bit of, back in school." And she was like, she was almost nearly crying because, to see what she had said and then to where I was at that point.
Yeah.
So it was humbling, but at the same time satisfying.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. Because, like, I think that's probably one of the main things that, like, I hope that we teach at school is probably more life skills.
Yeah.
Like, what you probably mean is that, like, without discipline, you won't be able to succeed in life. But probably the way she said it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's what we probably need to more in schools.
To be honest, man, like, I don't think I was a dumb kid. I just was a kid that never applied myself. I would have schooled all those exams, man, honestly. But I just didn't put in the effort. And I didn't study in any of that. I just really, to be honest, the last 3 years of school, I just mucked around. I just didn't care about school. But if I really applied myself, I probably would have got all those qualifications.
Yeah. That's it, And so, like so with the Northern Club as well, it's quite an exclusive list of members. Who's some of the people that you've got to obviously meet, and some of the people that you've obviously got to work through your connections with the club?
So I actually did a collaboration at the beginning of last year before COVID with Peter Gordon. And most of them, he's probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met, man. And so humble, man, with his recognition and reputation in the hospitality industry. And I just think worldwide that everyone knows him. I was like starstruck sort of thing, man. Because, like I've always, and I said to him, "Oh, hey man, I've got this book, man. When you're real young, I think you're just coming out. Can you sign it for me?" And he was so good about it.
Sorry, just for those who don't know, who's Peter Gordon?
Peter Gordon, he's probably one of the most recognised chefs in New Zealand. Probably even around the world. So if you mention that name in hospitality industry, everyone will know. Sorry, I should have been more specific. So he's one of the top chefs up there in the country. So he spent most of his life in England. he'd just come back to New Zealand just before COVID. Apparently, he said he caught one of the last planes to come back. He just said it was time to come back. And then at the same time, with a collaboration with me, I've also worked with. I've done a few collaborations, man. Like Al Brown. Al Brown owns. He's got a couple of places on Federal Street. Yeah. He's well known in the industry as well. Josh Emmett, he was he's a celebrity chef. There's New Zealand, there's MasterChef shows. He's one of the judges on there.
Oh, nice.
They've done a collaboration with him. Some of the members that I've met over my time over there, like Mark Ellis is a member. Dan Carter's wife's family, they're all members, and he's been in a couple of times. Broden Barrett's wife's family are members, and I think he's becoming a member now soon. I've cooked for Helen Clark, I've cooked for Jacinda Ardern, heaps of politicians. It's been a lot of people I've cooked for them. Graham Henry, Jane Hanson.
Oh, and it's not a small company as well, man.
Yeah.
It's big names.
Yeah. And they always tell me to come up after the dinner or lunch or whatever, and man, I'm just too shy to go up, But I have to,
Yeah.
So I'll go up with all my staff, and then everyone will stand up, give us a standing ovation, and just say, man, when I stand there in front of all these people, all these famous people, man, and I always think back to where I come from.
Yeah, man.
The hood, GI, where I came from, and
It's more satisfying,
man. And hard work, bro. Honestly, that's one advice I can give to people, bro. If you put in the hard work, man, you'll get the reap the rewards. And I try and instill that to my kids, hard work. Will get you places.
Yeah, man. That's it, man. Thanks for sharing that. With the Northern Club as well, it's exclusive. Like hardly anyone can get membership there, and it's not like you can just go rock up and sign up there.
Yeah. Oh, this is the thing, man. All the boys always say, when am I coming in for feed? I said, bro, you can't come in there, man. Yeah. See what? And then I have to explain the same story. Pretty much to be a member, bro. There's a big criteria list, and a couple of things on that list is you have to be nominated by a couple of existing members, and I think the other thing is you can't have been bankrupt before. But there's a big list, man, and I don't know how much the annual fee is, but I'm hearing it's about $500 a year, which is not that bad.
No, it's not bad.
So you walk in there. So you don't pay for anything. You just walk in there. When you're a member, you can put everything on tab, but you get a monthly statement where you have to pay. So not every person can come in there. But some of the people that I've met over the years that are members, man, they're probably one of the most nicest people that you ever meet. You think people with a lot of money are all snotty and all that, but the ones that I've met are pretty good, pretty down to earth.
Yeah. So on a regular night, how many people would you guys be like catering for?
Man, it varies. It varies, man. It just really depends on the time of the year. So, like at the back end of last year, it's funny because we came out of their second COVID lockdown. Was it August? Around August,
Yeah.
For some reason, man, from then to the end of the year, bro, was the busiest I've ever been at that club in my whole 19, 20 years being there, man. I was just like, man. So we had a record month. October was a record month for us in terms of food and beverage revenue.
Yeah.
But we smashed that in November, the next month.
Yeah.
So in those 2 months, food and beverage revenue, we made I think $1.2 million.
Shit.
And the boys would be like, man, why are we doing so many people? And I just say to them, well, the borders are closed, man. Yeah. And no one can fly overseas. And would you rather go to a normal restaurant where you have to pay straight away? Or would you come to us, the members, come to us and not have to pay and just worry about it at the end of the month? That's what I put it down to. Just our members just being comfortable, eating at the club, and like some of those places, those fine dining places, like the portions are small. Everything come to our place, but our portions are good, decent size. Like, I've always been a person that I don't really want to try and follow the trend. Like I'll follow the trend to an extent, but I'll make it bigger. Because you're not going to get smaller, a little bit of eyefulness take that big. That's why I think that's the other reason why our members tend to come back all the time, and it's just our food is filling. Soulful.
That's the one, man. Oh, especially like, I don't know how much it'll cost to eat there, man, but like, if you're spending that part of money, like, it's good.
Our prices are reasonable. I reckon our prices are pretty competitive to other people, other places.
What's one of your main signature dishes that you use?
Everyone asks me that. Probably one thing I really love to cook is lamb. Anything lamb. It could be lamb rack, lamb rump, lamb loin, roast lamb, anything. I just think I'm probably a good person. I can cook it really well. Probably lamb rack. I don't know, maybe like off the top of my head, probably parsley and mustard crusted lamb rack with truffle potato gratin, with almond asparagus, with red wine juice.
Is that all we had for dinner?
I wish. That's probably, honestly, I love lamb because it's so. I think it's overrated. I just think lamb for me is the best cut of meat. It's so tender, man. If you cook it properly, it's tender as, man.
It's just naturally juicy.
Especially when you like the lamb rackers, they've got this whole there's heaps of fat, and most chefs tend to cut it off. I just leave it on because it's going to melt anyway when you cook it on the barbie or whatever. It's just going to shrink a little bit, and then.
So, what about like so that's your like your signature. What are some other like foods that you've like? Have you created like any like gotten the chance to create your own dish like along your career you've had?
Heaps. And it's just so many to think of. At the moment, because we just changed our a la carte menu, and we just started it on Thursday just gone. So one of the things I always try and do is try and bring some Pacific influence to the Parangi world. So on the dish, there's a dish called ikabata. You know what it is?
No.
So that's raro for wolfish.
Oh, okay.
So that's on the dish, bro.
Nice.
But it's like a European style.
So like a hoko?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's not like that, but like it's like a European twist to it. So it's tuna, and we just marinate it in lime, salt, coriander. Just marinate it, and then we add in coconut cream, and then just cucumber. That's why I say Parangi stuff. We add in the cucumber, capsicum, mint, all that kind of stuff. And bro, on the plate, it's selling out that door, man.
Oh yeah.
I think so. We've had it on the menu since Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, we've probably sold like maybe 40 of them. It's only on entree. There's so many dishes, but that's one of them.
That's awesome. It's good because especially being certified, but I think it's good to it's a little bit of yourself that you're putting on the menu as well, eh? Like especially with your culture.
Yeah, I always tend to bring that economic dish back in summer. You know, refreshing. Yeah, refreshing flavors and lights. You don't really want heavy until you get to winter.
Yeah.
And you always try and when you're doing menus, you just try and judge on the season.
Yeah.
So summer, nice and light, fresh. Autumn, getting into a little, a bit of both of summer and winter, and then we get to winter, just like heavy. Try not to be heavy too much. You know what I mean, like roast and all that kind of stuff. Roast veggies, roast lamb, and all that. Yeah.
For all those aspiring chefs out there, like what's your regular day? Like from when you wake up to like when you're done at in the kitchen. Like, how does your regular day go?
So I'll get up early because I got to go to work start there at 6:30. Usually have to set up for breakfast because we also do breakfast. I'll set it all up. But to be honest, I don't really do much cooking anymore. I'm just always doing a lot of admin stuff in the office. But I always come out and try and guide these boys with regards to the menus and all that kind of thing. Just, they're always asking me questions and I make sure I give them the feedback and stuff. But I'll do the breakfast. I don't know, man, just paperwork during the day. Then I'll go out, work a little bit with some of the chefs, come back into the office, paperwork, and just do like that. Office work in the kitchen, office work in the kitchen. But the thing is, man, I've got good two sous chefs that I don't really need to do much. They'll look after that part, and I'll look after like the menus and all that kind of stuff. So it's just good, like there's a good balance. Having some trust in my senior chefs. Yeah, so, and then, I'm usually out of there by 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Now, these days.
Yeah.
And, just go pick up my daughter from school.
What time does normally dinner get served?
Our dinner service is from 5:30. So our day is like open for breakfast from 7 to 11:30. And then 11:30 to 3 is lunch, and then from 3 to 5:30 is bar snack type food, and then from 5:30 to 9:30 dinner. Yeah, that's how our day runs. And we've always got different shifts with different services.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's how our routine works.
Oh, nice. So when you are looking at like adding stuff into the menu, you sit down with your sous chefs and just collaborate in terms of bringing new dishes into it?
Yeah, so we usually so with the a la carte team, his name, the sous chef at the a la carte team, his name is Nick. So I'll say to Nick, hey, we need to change the menu in blah 2 weeks. Get the boys to come up with some ideas. Like I want them to express themselves and just bring up the ideas, and so he'll do that, and then he'll come back and he'll go, actually, boys don't have any ideas, and so it's up to us. So me and him will just knock it out. Me, him, and one of our senior chefs de party will just knock it out between us three in probably in like 3 or 4 days, and just come up with a menu just like that. And you just have to find that right balance of, is there enough fish on there, is there enough vegetarian? Because you know how everyone now is more plant-based, so there always has to be some vegan stuff. Fish, vegan, poultry, beef, lamb. And then, man, when we all bring it together, obviously I have the last say. Bang, and man, it's always good menus, man, when we do a collaboration with all of us. Same thing as the functions. I'll sit down with the function chef, and then we'll go, okay, yep, express your ideas. If they don't have enough ideas, that's fine. Then I'll do most of the work. Me and my other sous chef Harry, we'll just lock it up, and we'll come up with usually come up with some good menus, man. just hearty food, eh? Like, like light and refreshing, but like enough to get full, you know. So, yeah, it's a team collaboration, man. To be honest, like, I'm not, because there's some head chefs out there that go, okay, right, we're doing this menu like this. It's almost like a dictatorship. I've never been like that, man. I've always wanted these young fellas to express their, this is your opportunity, man. Just give me your dish, show me your flair. It must, like, 7 times out of 10, they will. But I think just lately, like, I don't know, some of these boys have run out of ideas. I've run out of ideas, but man, I've got these recipe books that are from like 20 years ago that I've written over the years. And if I can't come up with anything, I just go straight there and go, oh, this is what I did in 2001. But just put a modern twist to it.
Yeah. That's with obviously you guys working at the club, do you guys get membership as well? Or nothing?
Nah, man. I wish. Be good though. It'd be good to get some perks.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one thing I've never really asked. I reckon if I did ask,
It'd be okay.
Like, say for example, if I wanted to have a little function there, I reckon that'll be okay. Yeah.
Well, good. Sign me up for that also.
I'll tell you when it's happening.
That's awesome. Just over your experience of being a chef for obviously 20 plus years, have you ever come across any other colleagues in the industry as well? And have you seen them progress to head chef or any other roles similar to the one like yours?
I've come across heaps of poly chefs, but to be honest, I haven't really kept in contact with them, man. But I don't think any of the. Oh, actually, yeah, I think one or two of the guys that I worked with years ago became head chefs, but not head chefs anymore. One person I really admire is he's probably the most well known poly chef in Samoa. His name's Michael Meredith. I don't know if you heard of him. You should look him up on Instagram. He's the man. He's like, I think he's inspired heaps of PI chefs to become chefs. He used to own a restaurant in Mount Ely called Meredith, and apparently the waiting list to go and dine there is like 6 months. Yeah. Well, that's how good he is. How good he was. Now he does the thing, Eat My Lunch.
Oh yeah.
So he's the thing. He's the guy behind that. Yeah. So he's he's probably one guy that inspired me to push it through.
Yeah, awesome. Obviously, like we see on heaps of these chef movies, is the environment as competitive as they make it out to be? Like how everyone's just out for each other.
Which movie are you talking about? You're talking about the most recent one? The one with Bradley. What's his name? Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
What's that one called again? I haven't even watched it.
That's pretty good. That one's about like him attaining Michelin stars.
Oh yeah.
But he
Michelin star is pretty big, bro.
Yeah.
If you get one of those, man, you're the man.
Yeah, it's just one.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you get 3, you're like
you're the top.
Yeah.
Top dog. Are you talking in regards of like Gordon Ramsay stuff?
Yeah, something like that, and like, or maybe it's just because it's contestant shows, but like, just the way that it's depicted is like, everyone's vying for their spot to try and crack this top, kind of thing. Like, I know what have you told us so far is like, your perseverance and your drive has pretty much gotten you to where you are. But
to be honest, I've never come across someone that wanted my job. They say, you're just in the way, sort of thing. But it's joking me, but then I go to them, can you do my job? Sort of thing. You know how many people it takes to do my job. There's probably 2 of you that have to do my job, sort of thing. And no, I don't come across anyone that was the next person's job above me.
What about like just with you working right throughout? Like, were you ever trying to battle that with anyone else to try and?
No, not really. But I just want to go back to the boredom, what you were saying, the boredom Ramsey one, like, the throwing the pans and all that kind of stuff. It used to be like that.
Oh, yeah.
When I was coming up through the ranks, it's like, you play up a dish and you think it's good, and the head chef comes along and goes, nah, not good enough, in the bin. Man, it used to be bad like that, like pans thrown from one end of the kitchen to the other kitchen. Honestly, man, there's no need for that rubbish now.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, you can't do that stuff anymore because of human resources and with the way the law is these days, like you can't do that kind of stuff. But back then, man, it was like so, man, just up the gate, just what people used to get up. Honestly, man, I used to feel sorry. So that's what I always said to myself, whenever I get up to that sous chef and head chef job, man, I'm not going to be an ass. That's going to be just be like proper, Like, yeah, if it's no good, then just tell them in a positive, not positive way, but like just say, constructive, just and don't do those. It's not good enough. End up in.
I think that's just probably just the nature of the person you are, but as well as your upbringing. Like it's like, but like you said, I think we caught up about this over the New Year as well. Like that's the reason why your team, like there's massive mutual respect between you and your team. It's just there's a lot of respect and a lot of love within that kitchen. That like everyone's got each other's back as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's why we always try, and I've always tried to build that family culture in our kitchen. Just like. And there's no one, we don't have to fight amongst each other, man. Just treat each other like with the same respect, and sort of like you're my brother, you're my sister. Like, I don't like any battling, man, between one another. And like you said, man, it's the way I am. Like, and there's times where you get to be angry and mad and pissed, whatever. But most of the time, man, I'm pretty chill.
Yeah. Now that's sick, Yus. Thanks for sharing that, and obviously, we can't wait to see what like next year as well as the upcoming years is in store for yourself.
Yeah.
Before we quickly wrap up, I'll ask a couple of questions.
Yeah.
It's just some random questions that I've come up with myself. Obviously, we're really close as it is, but what do you see in Trent that reminds you so much of yourself?
Oh man, just recently, man. To be honest, like I didn't think anything before. Like just recently, he's real vain now. Honestly, and that's how I used to be back at his age. Like, man, looking in the mirror. Just like looking in the window at his body. Man, that's how I used to be back in that time.
Yeah. That's funny. Obviously you've got the job being chef, but and then across the years that you've gotten more involved with Trent's Rugby, especially at the varsity club out in Auckland, but as well as through school, senior aspirations as well to progress further within your coaching career as well.
I mean, everyone asks me that, like, is there any further aspirations? And like, the only reason why I got into coaching, man, was my law actually forced me. She goes to me, if you don't coach our son's team, we're going to go to another club, man, and I don't want to go to another club. And I go, man, I don't even know how to coach. She goes, you used to play rugby, eh? You go, yeah, well, yeah, you know how to coach. But to be honest, it's probably a good call from her because, man, it made me fall in love with rugby again because it was a period of like from after school when I was about 17 to about like 22, 23. I watched rugby. I didn't really like watch it with the passion that I have now. And it just brought the fire back in my belly for rugby, man. And man, the way I coach it, Trent would have been under 8 then, like when I started coaching. It was so old school, man. That all the stuff that I was doing was I was coaching them. The stuff that I was doing when I was playing, and it was real old school. But times have changed now, and I'm caught up with the times, and I know what to do now and all that kind of stuff. But no, man, there's no aspirations, man. I've always just coached, not for me, just for the kids, just for the kids, just to show them rugby skills and also show them life skills off the field. And I've always been like that, man. Like I've never coached for me to get further and to for my son to get further into teams and all that kind of stuff. Never. Like, oh man, if anything, man, I'm probably the hardest of them in the team. And most of the times I've just coached because there's no one put up their head. Right? But this year I'm not going to coach. I'm just going to hold back. And yeah, if further down the years, if I do have to coach, I will. But I'm always there to help if people want to help. I'm not going to aspire to be all blessed coach. If there's anything, hell no. That job's too hard.
Oh yeah, man. Especially when you got the weight of the country to carry as well on your shoulders.
I mean, I'd love to coach at club level later.
Yeah.
Maybe under 21. Maybe Premier Reserves. But yeah. Like I always just do it. If Trent's playing, and if they need a coach, then I'll do it. Yeah. If they've got a coach, then fine. I won't do it. Yeah. I always want to do it for him and his boys.
That's good, man. Especially with helping the kids out to teach them life skills. One thing that most parents got to understand as well is that within those young grades, these kids can can become like friends for life.
Yeah.
And like you want to ensure that you surround as well your kids with good kids as well, and making sure that they're good and influences as well on each other. So that's awesome. I know you're a massive blues fan as well.
Yeah.
That's our year. So obviously,
we always say it's our year.
This is a two-part question. So the first part is obviously with Super Rugby starting up within the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Super Rugby outside. What are the chances of the Blues winning it this year?
To be honest, I reckon they can go all the way. But like we said, it's just lucky last year. I think the Blues are on a roll, man. And yeah, I reckon they can go all the way this year. They're looking good.
Yeah, for me, last year was losing the game down in Wellington probably didn't help our chances. Because I don't know.
And the one in Christchurch,
Oh, the one in Christchurch, it's okay because it's done in Christchurch. Yeah. But we should have never lost to the Hurricanes, especially like I'm not too sure.
It was the other loss, Hurricane.
Yeah. And it was in Wellington. Like that's when Nani went off on.
Barrett and that's right.
We should have never had Plummer starting. For me, like
that was a bad call at the end, though, man.
Or the try without seeing the ball.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. I know, but I think it was the hard part was the ref gave it as a try on the field.
Yeah.
And like benefit of the doubt, but
holding on to it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you got to see the ball. Like,
yeah. I reckon if they had their last game in Eden Park, I reckon Blues would have won.
Yeah. We had to. It was sold out as well. We bought our tickets 2 weeks before that game. And
you're hard out there. You always go to the games.
I am.
Like I'm a hard out supporter, man, but I just can't bring myself to go every game.
Man, I
love the commentary.
Yeah.
And the replays and all that, and the cheap beer.
Yeah, that's true. And that's so there's this thing in the States, right? Like if you go to the games, to the football league, they give you headsets. But it's like ones that you can just throw in the rubbish.
Yeah.
But and it plays commentary, so you can have commentary while you're watching.
Oh,
Yeah, so hopefully they put up. I don't know, because the thing is,
replays, bro.
yeah, that's true. But what do you call it? Like, I'd say that as a big enough to like put money into like those type of hits, whereas in the States it's like minimum 60 grand, or 60 grand in terms of kind of people that turn up. Now, I'm a hard up Blues fan, and for me, it's like, man, this has been a long time coming. Like seeing this turn, and even with the hiring of Liam McDonald, like I was always a massive fan of it, only because I saw what he'd done in Tasman, and just what players were saying about him as well. So I hope this year's the year, because I think what probably didn't help with us last year was Bowden, though he was a massive like addition to the team, but it was like when he came in, the chemistry went all over the place. Like I like.
You're talking about when they were winning the games at the beginning? Yeah. Without him, mate.
Yeah, without him. And like, when he came in, you could see like he's fast. But it was just like, I don't know what it is. Like maybe it was just because he's surrounded with so much talent that, like when he was in the Hurricanes, he was like almost allowed to do everything. Whereas now, like he's trying to pick his chances of when he showcases off his brilliance. But
I honestly still think he's better than the team.
Yeah, definitely.
Should really just bring Richie Mo'unga on the All Blacks as an impact.
Yep. No, I agree with that as well.
I think he's a waste at fullback.
Yeah, it's like
his skills is not.
Like,
wasted skills at fullback.
Wasted. Probably the best team at getting the ball out wide ASAP, and at the same time, was like what people don't understand. He's like 6'3". Like he's a big unit. Oh, he's a big boy. He may be skinny, but like he can run it through the gaps. He's quick and stuff like that.
That's what I mean, around their close contact area, right? Because there's little gaps.
And he picks and chooses when he. So hopefully, when he does come back from Japan, he's feeling a bit more fresh, because I know the game's a bit more less physical over there, and it's more about speed. On the back end of that, obviously, hopefully the Blues have it this year. They've got a great team this year. Good signings. Speaking of signings, what do you reckon of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck for 2022?
The man, come back home, mate. Come back home to Auckland, where you belong. Man, I'm excited, man. Is he coming to the Blues? Has it been confirmed?
Confirmed today, this morning.
Oh, really?
So he's signed a 2-year contract with Auckland Rugby and
Sorry for all you other franchises out there, mate. It's game over next year. Game over.
If they can win and secure the dominance this year, it's just going to make it even better for Roger next year.
Yeah.
I think, for me, the reason why Roger's probably picked the Blues is just like you can see the culture and what they're building there is good. Like, but if you look at it compared to other years, like we're holding on to our talent, and that's and I don't know how they're doing it. Like, I don't know what sort of backdoor third-party deals they're doing to get this amount of talent and holding it all together.
I know, right?
But I'm happy, man, because like Auckland's always known as one of the biggest pool of talented players, but we all leave, and probably rightfully so. We didn't really have the right coaches or the right environment for them to flourish. Whereas now, what they're doing at the Blues is awesome.
Man, honestly, that back on next year, bro. And I honestly think that having Roger there, bro, is just going to enhance the back line. And I reckon he probably picked the Blues because obviously he used to play for the Blues with the under 18s. And, why would you shift up your family and go somewhere else?
Yeah. Well, we spent the whole of last year in Australia for the NRL season.
Yeah.
So what he wants to do is just stay at home, man.
Yeah.
And with that being said, Woody's, what is the best position that you see him? I've been asked this ever since yesterday so many times, and for me, I'm still unsure.
What do you reckon?
If he has a kicking game, fullback.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
If he has
a kicking game, fullback. But the funny thing is, I've seen him kick a few times and play for the Warriors. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Like kicking from the line.
Yeah.
He's got a good punt.
Yeah, he's got a good punt.
Yeah.
And but it's just different in Union.
I know.
Because it's not about just distance. It's like accuracy, getting in the right and at the same time,
I reckon they'll probably use it.
oh, he's got a good business already, man. I was thinking maybe centre. Like,
There's Rico.
yeah, put Rico back into the wing.
He would.
Got Caleb Clark, something to that.
True. Well, must be fullback then.
We've got that Leaplin's kid out of Turner.
Oh, yeah.
He's good too.
Yeah, man.
So I reckon if they do, I reckon fullback will have to be the spot. But I reckon it would be it'd be almost like like a Sean Stevenson, because he doesn't really kick much.
Yeah.
But like if he does kick, it's just like boot it up.
Yeah.
But I reckon even like Chase TT or the plays similar to that doesn't
Yeah,
have a good
yeah,
kick again,
yeah.
but like his counter attack is good.
Yeah. But
I trust Roger in the ears, right?
But yeah, me too. I also don't think that if he gets the ball from a kick outside the 22, he's not going to kick.
Yeah.
He's going to run it, and he'll probably in the 22,
He'll kick it up.
He'll kick it up.
Yeah.
I think that's the way he'll play. Yeah, I prefer him at fullback. Because he's lethal with more running space.
More running space is just that opportunity. Like he probably won't have as many one-on-one opportunities.
Yeah.
But like, if we're good at giving the ball up fast and you give him some space,
especially in the back line, maybe.
Yeah, bro. Especially in the back line. He's got underrated ball skills as well. He's got a good cut out pass from right to left as well. And I think for me, it's just like he can beat a guy one-on-one easy, and especially with the offload game being massively in Union now.
Yeah.
He gets set up. And probably the last 2 years, his defense has improved as well. So
exciting times, eh?
Exciting times, all right, man.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for.
So when the Blues win this year, so he'll come back and beat, and then he will
repeat.
Yeah. 2 in a row.
That's the goal. That's the goal for 2023 as well. Building up to the next World Cup. In terms of your career, like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years. I don't think I'll be at the Northern Club much longer. Maybe like another 3 years. Maybe. My plan at the moment at the Northern Club is just to leave it in a better place than I founded it.
That's awesome.
And because our kitchen is pretty run down, but slowly but surely I've been trying to fix different things, a bit at a time. So what I want to do probably within the next 3 years is just improve all our equipment, all our everything, So when the next head chef comes in, it's almost sort of like brand new. That's my plan. But after that, man, I would really love to just do some sort of business. Just really work for myself. Actually be my own, just work for ourselves. I'm sick of working for other people. I just want to make my own money, really. And hopefully retire early. Probably sell this house, maybe. I don't know. And man, the biggest thing for me, I've always wanted to live. I always ask me this question a few times. What's your dream area you want to live in Auckland? And I've always said I want to live on Tamaki Drive.
Where's that?
The main road on where the beaches are, Mission Bay and all that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to live there, around that area. So you just wake up and nice view of Rangitoto.
That's true.
Go for a swim whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my goals.
That's goals, brother. Goals, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it's like, it's not unattainable as well. It's some things when I believe in terms of goals, you speak it out into the universe, man.
Yeah.
The more you think about it, fixate yourself about it, man, it comes into fruition, man.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. With your journey so far, in terms of where you come from, obviously, moving around, bouncing around houses within Auckland, to studying at, obviously catching 4 buses a day, and studying at my Ross School, finishing up at school, and then starting at Hammerheads, all the way till now to where you're at Northern Club. Like, what are the 3 main words that you would describe your journey so far?
three main words: commitment, humble, just dedication.
That's awesome, Moss. That's me. And I think that's just the everyone that's watching will probably get from this as well. And with that, man, we'll just quickly wrap it up. And what's final question is, what's one quote that's probably stuck with you throughout your life that you to this day still?
One quote, man.
I know you've probably got heaps, but
No, oh man, you put me on the spot. I've always been a big believer, man. I've always been a big believer, man. There's always people out there with talent, but only talent comes hand in hand. If you put in the hard work, and so for me, it's been put in the hard work, man, and you'll reap the rewards later. I've always been a big believer in that, and everything that I do, hard work always pays off.
Yep.
Whether it was when I was playing rugby for school, putting in the hard work, which is like going for a run every day, getting fit, getting stronger for the rugby team, and then for work, was just always trying to get better at my knife skills or my cooking skills or my knowledge up here about different culinary stuff. Just always putting in the hard yards, man. And I always try to instill that into my kids, especially Trent. He's quite a reserved guy. All pretty similar to me. Doesn't really talk much. I try and instill that in everything he does. And I think he's at an age now where he's starting to realize, that everyone's catching up now. Us PIs, man, we've always that natural talent in sport.
Yeah.
You always got that one person that's always been with you when you're younger, put in more work than you, and I always say to them, you'll soon overtake you if you don't want to put in hard work. Hard work, bro. Hard work reaps the rewards, I reckon.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. And with that, we'll quickly we'll definitely wrap up our episode today. Again, also, I'd like to thank you for taking out the time. I know how nervous you are to do this episode. Like, normally myself, I'm on a big challenge and I'm drinking with you just to make you feel comfortable. And that that's just a sign of respect for myself for you also. And like I said, since you've joined the family, man, you've been nothing but an awesome addition. I know that, you try to bring us all together as well over the festive seasons to, so that we can all catch up and all reminisce about the past days as well. So I appreciate what you do for, not only for my law and your kids, but for my auntie, for us and my uncle, as well as our extended family also. So thank you for that. And so obviously, Taai is at the Northern Club, but if you want to get in reach of them, just feel free to come through to me, and especially those that want to get more involved within the chef industry. I know Tai's got more than enough patience. You probably have to go through us to get through to him. That's all, and because he's quite a reserved person as well. So again, thank you also for having us here in your humble abode, and feel free to catch up on this episode as well as some of our past episodes. Thank you again for to Tolan Apparel as well for sponsoring our episode today, and also nothing but the best for the rest of 2021.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Hello.
Sus.
How was it?